What's up, friends and family? I'm doing a video. I have a whole bunch of beats, and I just want to start breaking down how each of them is made, and then at the end of the video, after I show how it was made, then I'll just play the whole thing. I just thought it would be really fun, and yeah, we'll just get right into it. Alright, so this isn't going to have any screen caps or anything. I'm just going to explain what's going on. So here we have pattern 1. So not too much going on there. I mean, we have a very faint hi-hat. I'll have to turn that up a bit. And we have 3 different snares. Here they all are. There's one. There's a clap, and like a little rim shot. So together they sound like this. Alright, and then next we have, admittedly pretty loud kick drum. In fact, I might take that down a little bit. Alright, and we also have a shaker that plays at the end. Again, pretty faint, but I feel like it adds to the overall groove. And then I have a really quiet sound. I don't even know if you can pick that up on the camera. It's a very faint sound. And, I love adding faint sounds like that because faint sounds like that, there's small details that are felt, not necessarily heard. It adds almost like a digital quality to the overall beat. And, Oak Fielder, I'm not sure. He's the guy who produced Sorry Not Sorry by Demi Lovato. He said that Steve Jobs, in his book, so this is a quote of a quote, Steve Jobs, his dad was building a cabinet, and the front of the cabinet was beautiful, but also the back of the cabinet that was going to be put against the wall was also very beautiful. And he asked his dad, why take the time to make the back of the cabinet so beautiful? And his dad said, because I know it's there. It's a little detail that I enjoy, a detail that's not seen but is felt. And, I feel Steve Jobs' dad on that. Alright, so number 2, let's see here. We got the 808. And right now it sounds way too distorted, but in the mix it makes a lot more sense. And the way that I distort my 808s is, it's this free plugin called Camel Crusher. I'd suggest getting it. It definitely needs to be tamed, right? It's a wild camel. You gotta tame that camel a little bit. And then just a couple EQ. It does it in a way where it doesn't really clash with the kick, but it kind of does. So, post-production, the kick will be ducking out of the way of the 808. To those who don't know, it's called side chaining. That way, the 808 will turn down every time the kick hits. And it comes out a lot clearer that way. So we're going to look and see what else we got. We got some strings going on here. Alright, so it's I don't know if this is the official term, but it's what my brother calls a shine. It in audio terms, it's like something that's glowing so bright. It's like it's like when you take the curtains and you spread the curtains apart, and it's a bright sunny day, and the sun just hits you in the face, but not necessarily in an aggressive way, but in a way that just seems really pristine, and that's kind of what I like to imagine, and that's why I like putting those in hooks, because when you hear the hooks and you hear that shine, it just I like for it to imply, whoa, oh my God, So on the first one, on the chorded strings, you can hear it it's kind of like a gate. It's like that's another. Oh, this one's actually not free, but it's a plugin that I use called Kickstart, and simple as that. It kind of side chains it, but at a consistent rate, and it's not a rate you can necessarily control, but that's fine for this purpose, because the 808 and the kick have a very 1, 2, 3, 4 kind of rhythm going on at the beginning. So it just kind of reinforces that groove, that ba ba. And then over here we just have our regular. This is our classic shine. A violin at a high octave with some reverb on it will give you that shine element that you're looking for. Okay, and then now I have another thing that I use in the hook, and that's this electric keyboard. It's like a Rhodes. I did a couple things to it. Let's take a listen to it. Okay, so a couple things going on here. The attack has increased. So to those who don't know, the attack of a sound, let's say this is a sound. Ah, okay? If I increase the attack of that sound, it'll go like this. Ah. So that's what's going on here. Is I made it so the electric keyboard without the attack on it just sounds like I don't have one loaded up. I should have did that before this, but it doesn't sound like this. Well, all right, I'll take the attack down. So it's like doom 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 doom, but when I increase the attack, okay, so and of course you hear the insane amount of reverb on that, just because I want it to kind of, the way I kind of imagine it is it's kind of like a cowboy whistling at night, which apparently you're not supposed to do because it causes bad spirits, but so to emulate that, at the end of notes during the phrase, I added a little bit of vibrato. So here's one of the notes. So you can't necessarily hear it that well when there's all that reverb going on, but I'm sure you know what vibrato is, but I'll go ahead and go into it right now. So the flat sound would sound like ooh, but I even added a little accidentally at the end there. But with the vibrato, it's ooh. It's just like ooh. It wiggles at the end, you could say. So yeah, I mean that's mostly what I did to that sound. So it kind of gives it a whistly kind of sound. And yeah, that's it for the patterns. Now I'm gonna go into some of the loops that I use here. And to those producers watching, it's completely fine to use loops. The point where I see a problem with using loops is when you use it as a crutch. There's some producers uh, you know, especially financially savvy producers, I'll give them that, who are like, you know what, I can get a collection of loops, I can get some full drum loops, mash them together, and I have a new beat that I made, right? Because different people made the different things, and I mashed them together. It's my beat, and now I can sell it, which is cool. But if you love music, I wouldn't suggest doing that. I would suggest taking something that somebody's already made, right, and then flipping it into your own kind of creation, adding your own spin to it, and using it as a tool, not necessarily as the thing that's going to get the job done. The thing that's going to get the job done should be you. All right, so here we have the main sample. I think I'm going to play it. Okay, we don't, but this is a percussion loop. So it's got some Latin flavor to it, which I really enjoy. It's got a nice bounce to it, which I thought would really help with the beat. So here we have the main melody, I think. I don't label these, and that's something I need to work on. But here we go, I think. Here we go. Okay, so let's play some other things that I got going on here. Okay, you won't be able to hear that, but I got a shaker loop going on, and it's not like a chick 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 chick. It's got a certain rhythm to it. It's chick 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 chick, which goes along with this percussion loop. So again, reinforces the groove. That's something that's also very important with using loops. Loops will come with their own little groove. So you can reinterpret that groove, or you could go along with that groove. Either way, I think is a good strategy for using a loop effectively in a creative way that's unique to your own style. So here I took the same loop as before, and I just pitched it up an octave. So, most of you probably know, but some of you might not know. So in octave, let's say, an octave above that would be, and below that, that's not really my range. But so I took that top one and I added the octave above and put some reverb on it and cut off a little of the high end. So right now it kind of sounds like really misty, clouded nonsense. But once you put them together, and especially you'll hear in the hook, it it just really adds to the overall image. And especially when those shines kick in also, that will also increase the I don't like to say like, not like awe-inspiring, but like, something that it's like, oh, this is the hook for sure, because this is a big moment, it feels like. All right, and then next, another quiet thing. I have some background vinyl noise just to add some texture. Might not even be able to hear that necessarily on the camera, but again, it's something that adds. All right, and then this. Okay, this is just a hi-hat loop. I like using hi-hat loops because they usually do a good job of, they're not right on the grid. Also, the velocities change, and it just saves me a lot of time, because what I would probably do is I'd probably go tss, 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 right on the grid, but then I'd have to manually nudge things to make them sound natural, or I'd do it MIDI. But this just saves me a lot of time. Boom, done. And that's another good use for loops, is to save you time. And again, do you want to save time so, for the sake of capitalism, or for the sake of getting your idea on paper? Really your choice. I usually choose the latter. All right. And so those are the sounds that are used. Now I'll talk a little bit about the structure, and then we're going to close it up, and I'm going to play the whole beat. So I just have like a cute little intro. I don't think it'll change. Here it is. Okay, so just the kick. I also have this sound going. It's from that percussion loop from earlier. All right. Amazing Grace. All right, and then we got the shaker loop playing. And it stops when it goes doom, doom, doom. All right, and I have that background thing too, but everything cuts out after 1, 2, 3 on 4. Dead silence, and if I'm speaking to you and there's a random silence when it sounds like there's going to be more stuff, you're anticipating more. And that's mainly the reason why this intro is set up this way. Boom, 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 boom. Then it kicks in. So for the verse, I got this going on. Just the 808, the main melody, the beat, and then at the halfway point of the verse, I just add the percussion loop, which you can maybe not really hear because I only got this little monitor and it doesn't necessarily play what's happening accurately, but I'll play the actual audio recording after this. So so that's the halfway point, and then near the end of that, we got this little thing that I am really into doing. Don't know if I'll keep doing it, but I really like doing it. Okay, so what I do is I take a little piece of the end part of the sample and I just repeat it. Dun, 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 dun. But every time it repeats, a little bit more of it gets chopped out. So, the only two things that are being played are the percussion loop and the main melody loop. And then it goes into the hook. Now, since it's just structurally, I won't go too deep into what all the hook entails, but basically the main hook part plays, and then at the halfway point I incorporate that, like the cowboy whistling at night, the do 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 do. All right, so the second verse is mainly the same way as the first verse. Oftentimes, we'll overcomplicate things and feel like, okay, the second verse needs to be totally different than the first verse. But that's not necessarily the case. And, that can stifle you creatively if you're like, oh, well, I need to do something different. What do I gotta do different? If you do something different, that's cool. And if you don't feel like doing something different, that's fine, because there's going to be vocals going on during this whole thing. So the second transition into the hook, it sounds like this. So, it's very short, but, so the percussion loop, the main melody, and the shaker loop, I take the last part, and instead of da 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 da, instead I take one part, and I go, bam. I just take that little sliver, and I stretch it out. It kind of gives it a cool little sound, and then just a little stutter at the end. You'll hear it when I play the whole beat. And, the next hook is completely the same. And then at the end, I just play the 808, the shaker loop, the percussion loop, and the main beat. Fade out. I know, original ending. I don't always end on a fade out, but I like ending on fade outs. I think it's a good way of, it's like the song came, and it's like you live on an island, and the song came on the island, you guys had fun, and then when it fades out, it boards its ship, and it's like, all right, see ya. And then the song ends. So that's a full breakdown of that beat. So that's going to be the last you'll see of me. Go ahead and, listen to the full beat. It's going to play right after I'm done talking. And, that's it for this video. Thank you guys very much. Peace out. Hey guys, this beat's about to play, but I just want you to know this is the old mix of the beat. There's quite a few things that I've decided to take out, quite a few things I decided to change, and I decided to mix it all differently. So, it's going on a super secret project, though, that I'm not allowed to talk about. I shouldn't have even said that. I've already said too much. But, here's the beat in its entirety before I made all the changes. And, so here we go.